Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Here it is, Coffee Ann on ONAM and FM. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's Thursday morning. It's November 17th. And as Em said, it's cold outside. She had a few more adjectives, but she says it's cold outside. Is it still cold?
Yes, it is.
It's really cold. 30. It's actually 37 right now. It's actually going up. It was 33 a little earlier. And if you could tell me the difference between 33 and 37, you're a better person than I. All right, that's Emily Haining-Sheehan, or Em as we like to call her from the call. Hello.
Good morning.
Bob Lauder is here. Attorney
Good
Bob
morning.
Lauder.
Good to be with you.
Good to have you here with us, Bob. We're going to get to Bob in just a second. But Em, it's time for your first message from the Call newspaper.
Yes, so today starts the stocking stuffer contest.
Woo-hoo.
Woohoo! So you
Cold for everybody.
Yes. No. We have some great prizes this year. We have a lot of gift certificates to all your local favorites. So you can go on the website of woonsocketcall.com or pawtuckettimes.com and / stocking stuffer contest. And you can vote once a day, and we will be announcing the winners on the radio on the 8th of December. So please go out and vote. And 3 lucky winners will receive some great prizes from all your local businesses, which is great because, as we know, our local businesses are the fabric of our communities. So we're excited.
What are we voting for?
You're just going to be entering the contest. So you just enter the contest, and we'll be announcing 3 winners: a grand prize winner, a second place winner, and a third place winner.
Oh, I thought we were voting on particular items that would be in the stocking. Okay.
No. So it's, it's just the regular, contest. So, enter to win, and there's no charge. So you can just go on the homepage of each of our websites and click on, the header, stocking stuffer contest, and we'll have those lucky winners on the 8th of December.
Very cool.
Sounds great.
All right. Now, last week we put Bob on the spot. And we asked him a question. He said, I got to go look at the answer. And,
yes.
And the question was, what is the difference between assault and aggravated assault?
Okay.
So, Bob, what answer have you come up with?
The fact, aggravated assault is not a crime in the state of Rhode Island specifically defined that way.
All right.
We have simple assault and we have felony assault.
Okay.
Now, simple assault is when you harm somebody, but you don't inflict any kind of physical or emotional harm. Felony assault is different. Felony assault is, and I'll read it to you, because I'm not real great on the memory parts of these things. Okay.
Bob's got a bunch of papers he brought in with us.
Oh, yeah.
And everything's highlighted.
Yes.
So he's just got to find
He's done his due diligence.
where felony assault has been.
Got to find what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Should we come back to you, Bob?
Probably sometime in the next year. Okay.
I feel like the judge over here.
Yeah, I know.
Attorney, are you ready?
Heck no.
Just a minute, Your Honor.
Okay. Oh, phooey. Felony assault.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who makes an assault or battery with, or both, with a dangerous weapon, or with acid, or other dangerous substance, or by fire, or assault and battery, which results in serious bodily injury. That's a felony assault.
Okay.
There's also a whole lot of other kinds of assaults that you can have in Rhode Island. You can have assault with a dangerous weapon in a dwelling house. You can have assault on police officers. Assault and battery in the collection of a loan.
So it's broken down.
Assault against school teachers.
Wow.
Correctional officers. Assault with bodily fluid on a person over the age of 60 causing bodily harm, causing serious bodily harm. And it goes on. There's 16 different variations of assault. But the word aggravated doesn't come up in any of them in Rhode Island.
So that must be in other states.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sounds like it would be like the felony assault would be the aggravated
Yes.
assault.
assault. Yeah.
There was
kinda
one interesting
common.
case that I found in Utah where they had apparently charged someone with aggravated assault, which was apparently in their statutes, but they never in the statutes actually defined it. And so the case had some serious consequences of not being able to go through.
Okay. So if I were to punch you like in the arm,
Right.
and you went, ow, but
That's-
that's your simple assault,
Right.
But if I punch you in the jaw and break it, let's say, and then you have to go to the hospital to get your jaw
Right.
wired shut, that's felony
And
assault.
the difference
Okay.
in the penalties are, for simple assault, it's a misdemeanor. Not more than a
okay.
year in jail at the maximum, not more than a $1,000 fine. On a felony assault, it can go up to 20 years in jail and a much larger fine.
And it sounds like in Rhode Island, then, depending on where the assault takes place and who the assault is on, you can have multiple charges.
Yes.
Like, so if I punch you in the jaw, break your jaw in your house, now it's in a dwelling, and you're over 60.
Yep.
So now it's on a person over 60 as well. So you just keep tacking on the
They're
charges.
going to be
Okay.
spending a lot of time down there making license plates.
Yes.
Well, I guess I won't do that then.
Okay.
Now, as you just read it, felony assault doesn't require a weapon. Now, and is your hand now a weapon?
Yes, your hand can be considered a weapon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember years and years ago when I was doing criminal work, defending a guy who had been drunk in the beer tent at the Autumn Fest and threw his eyeglasses at a police officer.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder why you would do that.
Well, he was drunk.
Well, now you can't see though.
He probably didn't notice.
All right.
And defending on that because the allegation was, the eyeglasses could have been a dangerous weapon. We worked it out.
Boy,
so
it is a stretch, but
he didn't-
okay.
He didn't have any serious consequences as a result.
Okay.
But, it can be stretched that far.
All right. There's from what I can tell, we still have a missing person in North Smithfield.
Yes.
Never heard the story. It broke kind of late yesterday afternoon. He is 62 years old. His name is Philip Heeman. Lives on Madady Road, and he's just gone missing. And they were searching for him yesterday, and they're starting the search up again today.
Yes.
I mentioned they're using dogs and things like that.
They are using canines.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Because unfortunately, he does suffer from dementia
Does he?
and
Okay.
as well as Parkinson's. So it's a sad situation, and hopefully they will find him soon, especially with the colder weather.
Makes you wonder if he made it through the night.
Yeah.
Because it was so cold last night. They're just checking some of the news stations. The search is still underway. He's not been found as of yet.
That's a fairly rural area, isn't it, with lots of woods and trees?
All of North Smithfield's fairly rural,
Yeah.
except for Great Road. If it's not road, then yeah, it's rural. And but it doesn't say anything about him driving a car or anything
No,
like that. So
no,
he's
it
out
does not.
walking around,
Yeah.
which is rough.
Yeah.
And there's water that's involved too. That water in the area
Yeah.
that he could stumble into. So we'll be keeping a track on that. And if you have any information on this person, Philip Eamon, please contact the North Smithfield Police. They were using helicopters yesterday too. So
I did actually see some helicopters yesterday while I was out. Yeah.
I haven't heard them yet this morning, but they may be bringing them back. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we did get a note that was written in, came in yesterday, but late yesterday. But I can read it to you now. It's a little on the lengthy side. I think this person's going to agree with you, Bob. It just says, "Yeah, Trump." If you think about it, the man who is consumed about himself. Well, he always has been. I mean, and that's not a crime. He's consumed with himself. To me, a dangerous person. Not so much, but a dictator in this society. It just doesn't work. His ideas may be commendable, but his history does not support this. January 6th says it all. A tirade supporting a disrupting and riot incident. A madman in power. We're not taking the good and welfare concerning of our citizens. Maybe the Democrats are in question, but he is certainly not the right direction for this country. Still think immigration was foremost and a very bad decision to let them in. Think about the problems we have allowed with this terrible decision. All right. Not a big fan of Trump, and You know who else is not a big fan of Trump? And we also have
Golly,
the,
I'd be
besides
stunned.
Bob. No, David Cicilline, the congressman. And we had the story this morning, and he's thinking of, or will put in legislation to bar Trump from holding public office again. And now he's using, oh, here we go, Bob. He's using the 14th Amendment as reason he should not be able to hold public office. And the 14th Amendment bars people from holding office under the disqualification clause. Are you up on your 14th Amendment?
Not at all.
Yeah.
And it just says it blocks any person from holding office who has taken an oath to protect the Constitution but is engaged in insurrection against the U.S. Now, they all use January 6th. But if I'm going to use my legalese here, as far as I know, he hasn't been convicted of anything. Correct?
No, he hasn't. And I
Okay,
would
then.
think that Congressman Cicilline's bill is more of a personal statement on his behalf rather than really anticipating that, that Congress is going to act upon it favorably. I think that it's his position and making it public what he thinks, but as for getting any final results on that, I would think that's very doubtful.
I know he's got a few others that are probably with him, and that he'll submit this bill as part of a group.
True.
So you don't see it really going anywhere? Congress taking it up or anything like that?
No, not at all.
No.
Especially since the Republicans control the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to get anywhere.
Em, you think along the same lines?
Unfortunately, there's, it's freedom. It's the freedom of speech, and the amendments are our rights. Whether it's going to pass, again, kind of on the same lines as Bob, I agree that it probably won't, but I would surely think that it would be presented because that's a right that the House of Representatives on the Democratic side has, and then on the flip side, the Republicans have the right to shoot it down. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting next 2 years until the next presidential election.
Yeah, I'm not that crazy about trying to bar him from running, and I say let the voters decide, let the parties decide if he can raise the money and if he can raise the votes to get the nomination. Okay, and then see what happens at the polls.
In the unlikely event that was actually enacted by the Congress, both the House of Representatives and the Senate, I would think there'd be multiple legal challenges to that.
Right off the bat, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay.
No, I think that there's problems with that kind of philosophy anyway.
Okay. Well, I think David Cicilline should concentrate more on his on going after Ticketmaster. Did you hear this yesterday? Did you hear about the whole Taylor Swift fiasco, Bob?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
She crashed Ticketmaster.
Well, not her.
Well, no, but
But her fans did.
her fans did.
And so David wants to look into. Now he's saying, this is funny, saying that Ticketmaster and Live Nation 10 years ago should never have been allowed to be one company. Because he's saying
It's a monopoly.
It's a monopoly. And it is.
It is. It is.
But he said it shouldn't have happened 10 years ago. And now they want to look into it because of what has happened. Happened with Taylor Swift.
And the thing is too is that you not only have the ticket prices, but then you have the fees on top of it to order it online.
Oh yeah.
And the fees, I believe I had read or had seen that it's like $50 or more over the price of the tickets, and the tickets aren't cheap.
Oh no. I was telling my daughter, it's if you're lucky,
Yeah.
they're $300.
Yeah.
In the top of Gillette Stadium. Fees on top of that, of course.
Exactly.
Bring it to $400 or
Yeah.
so dollars. So
And then you think of, okay, on top of that, if you get a beverage at Gillette, parking.
Oh, well, that's,
if
that's
you
all
don't,
to the aside.
it's. But I mean, it's an expensive venture out for for an evening. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've paid more than that for a ticket to see a concert.
Really?
Yes, I have. But
She's younger than us, Bob.
But I have a bucket list.
All right.
See, that's the thing. I grew up in a musical family. I obviously, I sing the jingle every week, but I've been singing. I did 7 years of musical theater, and things like that. So, and my husband's a musician, so that's kind of our go-to is going to concerts. And
All right. Well, I'm kind of like you.
Monroe has died.
Vaughn Monroe. But I'm kind of like you, Em, in the fact of a bucket list, and I have seen my fair share of concerts. I have never seen Bruce Springsteen, but I will not pay $1,500 to see Bruce.
there's
He's coming around next winter, next year in February. I'm like, this just.
I agree.
No
I mean,
way.
there's definitely a cutoff of how much I will pay.
There is a line. Okay,
there
good.
is a line.
$1,500?
Yeah, for one ticket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, he's right.
Yeah. And the problem is, everywhere he's going, it's sold out. So people are paying it.
Okay, but
Not only are they paying it, they pay the tickets, and then they fly, because sometimes, I couldn't get tickets in my hometown, but I was able to buy tickets in L.A., so now they're flying across the country, hotels and
Those are
food and
true
like that. Those are
diehard
real
fans.
just to see him, because that's where I got tickets in order to see him.
okay.
That is a diehard fan.
That is.
All right.
That is.
We're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. More is coming your way, but time for a second message from the Call newspaper.
Yes. So we have still available spots on the front page. It's the front page strip for our holiday gift idea of the day. So you get, front page advertisement.
Springsteen tickets.
Yeah. So, help encourage our readers, to shop local, especially this, holiday season. And it could be, dining specials. It could be promoting, one-time only, deals that you may have at your, local business. Gift ideas if you're a retail, saying, hey, this is the hottest, item or hottest fashion, come to our store, our local business and shop. So if you have any questions, you can give me a call at 401-743-8500.
All right. Comments and questions can be called in to us at 766-1240.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with RE/MAX Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial. And he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first. And he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
It's Coffee In here on ON, AM, and FM. Em, is your throat feeling okay?
Yes.
Can we hear the number for Scott McGee?
Sure. It's 401-639-2906.
All right, one more time.
401-639-2906.
All right, very good. So we were talking yesterday on the Coffee In program about the whole Ticketmaster thing, and
Yeah.
and we just need to go back to selling the tickets at the venue, and if you want to go get in line.
Yeah, but can you imagine?
You can't do that anymore.
You can't.
Yeah, but that's also not really practical. I mean,
Hey,
Foxborough, you'd have lines that would go all the way to rent them.
People figured it out 20, 30 years ago. You take, and if you really want to go, you'll take time out of work, or you hire somebody to go do it for you. That was actually a cottage industry in New York City. They would they would hire homeless people. Here's $20.
Mm-hmm.
Stand in line for me, and then somehow get a hold of me, or
Yeah.
buy the tickets for me while I go to work. You just do it for me. All right.
Okay.
So there you go. You'll be retiring soon, Bob. Be an extra job for you.
Hey, yeah.
Just to stand in
just
line.
To stand in line.
Only to be disappointed when you get to the ticket window. Oh, we're sold out. No.
I always thought you could do that at the registry of motor vehicles. You just stand in line there, and the line is really long. You shout to the people at the end, give me $20 and I'll trade places with you.
I'm sure. I wonder if that's illegal. I'm sure you could do that if you want.
Hey,
Make it 75.
Yeah, exactly. Give him a little more.
All right, moving on. The man from New York was convicted of the killing in Pawtucket back in 2020. You remember that case?
No, I don't.
It was on New Year's Day of 2020. This man and this woman showed up at another woman's house, and they just knocked on the door, and she opened it, and they shot her. And I think they picked them up. They made it all the way over to the hotel that's on 95. What is that hotel now? Comfort Inn or something like that. That's where they picked them up. Yeah. Anyway, he was finally he was just convicted, and he's at the ACI right now.
they must have been in some type of relationship between the parties.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. His name is Jack Doherty. He's from Albany. He was convicted of the fatal shooting of Cheryl Smith on New Year's Day. The Attorney General's office says Doherty carried out the act under the instructions of his fiancée, a woman by the name of Shaylin Moran. And the state says the two conspired to shoot anyone who answered the door where Moran's ex-boyfriend lived on Baxter Street. It was also Smith's residence. You need a scorecard to keep track of all these people that are there. I don't know. I remember this happening, and I forget all the real details. Somehow, I think the guy who did the shooting, Jack Doherty, was involved with the woman that was killed. I think they were boyfriend and Cheryl Smith. They were boyfriend and girlfriend at one time, and then there was a split up, and now he's with this other woman. But you know how guys can be sometimes. Now his ex-girlfriend is with another guy, and now he's mad.
How did they catch him? I would imagine
They
that
weren't. They only went to that. I remember this. They went to the hotel in Pawtucket.
Mm-hmm.
That's right on 95, and
Right.
I can't remember it. But anyway, they were, and his guns were in the car or in the room or something like that. It was pretty easy for them to find them. They didn't
somebody
go
must
very
have
far.
seen him, because if
Possibly.
if you just went to a random house, the occupant opens the door, you shoot them right there in the doorway, and then run away.
Yeah,
I would think your likelihood of being caught is
pretty
rather
significant.
small, because
Well, no.
unless somebody's seen you, you just disappear into the population.
But it was done, I think, during the day, and they just got back into the car with the New York plates on it and drove away. And someone saw New York plates, and they only went, maybe 5 miles before they were getting ready to pack up and leave and head out. But the cops caught him
Of course,
well ahead
Either
of time.
way,
I
it's
completely
a
overlooked
it's
the
a
fact of
tragedy,
security
but
cameras too.
Yeah.
at least justice is being served.
Yeah.
Now, and it's a comfort for the family too
Mm-hmm.
of the victim.
So that's what happened down there. So other things going on, and there's a correlation between a high school in Rhode Island and a high school in Massachusetts. And we'll start with the one in Rhode Island. West Warwick High
Yes.
School is investigating a hazing incident, and that's always what they put it at. And they never really
And that's with the
tell
football
you-
team.
Yes, members of the football team, and they never tell you exactly what's going on to the public anyway. But it's bad enough that they involve the Warwick Police Department and the Rhode Island Department of Children, Youth, and Families.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what I've read ahead on that is they have suspended, I think it's 7 members of the team.
Okay.
Here's the correlation. In Massachusetts, in Haverhill, the exact same thing. With the high school football team in Haverhill, another hazing incident. From what I read there, it's against one freshman. That they've decided we are canceling the rest of the season. Not that there's much of the season left. There is one more football game, Thanksgiving Day, which is too bad against the team they're playing. Okay, we win by
Yeah, it's
forfeit.
forfeit.
Great.
Yeah.
But so something bad happened there too, and they've got the Haverhill police involved, and I'm not sure about the Attorney General's office or not, but this stuff still goes on.
Well, way back in the dark ages when I was in college, I remember that they would be hazing fraternities to get membership. But you were on sports teams. Was there much of that going on when you were in high school or college?
Not a one. And then you played a lot of sports.
No. I mean, it's a shame that this is still happening. Especially with fraternities. Especially with
I'm talking about
fraternities.
50 years ago.
Now
now
too.
It still does.
It still does,
And schools
and-
have all their rules against it.
Yes.
And they will toss
But-
them out. They will suspend you if they get caught.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just it's a brutal way of it's psychological. It's obviously in some cases it's physical
Yes.
as well, and it's just it does. There's no need for it. Let's put it that way. There's no need for it.
Also, the team in Massachusetts, the coaches have all been put on paid administrative leave. So sometimes the coaches
sometimes
are
they're
involved,
aware.
or they're aware of what's
Yeah.
going on and they don't do anything. Now, is that the case there? I don't know yet. Investigation is still going on. Nothing about the coaches in West Warwick.
In West Warwick.
So,
Yeah.
but I was aware of hazing going on, and it was and my father came to me. If anything, you will quit the team immediately, and we will press charges. So make sure nothing happens. You absolutely, Dad. You got it. And I told the same thing to my son. He played sports in high school too, and nothing ever happened to him either.
And you know what? It's not just sports. It's not
No, it
just
isn't.
fraternities. The military does it too.
Do they? Yeah. The only thing my son did, but it was more of an act of cohesiveness. They all bleached their hair. So they were all,
It was
that was a team building
It was
thing.
a team building thing.
Yeah, so that was,
it's not to with hazing. It's almost like they want to demoralize.
hazing is ganging up on
Ganging
smaller
up.
kids,
It's
basically.
or it's kind of like an initiation.
Yeah.
Into the team. There's other ways and more positive ways of doing that
Mm-hmm.
than the hazing. It's just
And I can see why it keeps going on, because if it happened to you when you're younger, you can't wait till you're older and you get to do it to somebody else. That's the way guys think.
yeah.
But it's got to stop, and
It does.
and so
Because
we'll have to see.
people have died.
Oh, yeah.
People, there has been, and it's still going on. I mean, there's stories. It seems like at least once a year that's on national TV about another, especially in college.
Yeah, because they just try to be sneakier about it. We try to keep it as quiet as possible, but and it always seems to be, for some reason, it always seems to be with the football team.
Yes.
Sometimes lacrosse.
Yeah.
Up in Massachusetts, it happened with a couple of hockey teams.
Oh yes.
Excuse me. It just seems that if it's a more aggressive sport, it tends to happen more often.
Yeah.
and I'm not sure why. You play tennis, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Tennis is just not quite as. You don't hit each other. You
Well,
don't bang into each other intentionally, I should say.
I don't recall this happening with the debating club, but
No, that didn't happen then either.
no,
Were you on
you
the
didn't. You
debate?
didn't
Yes.
You didn't throw a pencil.
no.
Well, actually, that could have been a dangerous weapon.
That's
That's
could have
true.
been. Yeah, that's a felony assault right there. All right, break time here on the Coffee and program. It's time for the forecast, which is being brought to you by Five Below.
Mostly sunny skies today with a high of 44 degrees, breezy from the west. Tonight, mostly clear, overnight low of 26. Friday's weather, sunny with a high of 44 and breezy. Saturday, sunshine and 41. Sunday, sunny and 37. Monday, sunny and 41. Tuesday, sunshine and 48 degrees. And on Wednesday, sunny with a high near 53.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. We do have sunny skies and 39 degrees. Give cheer to a child in need while checking out at Five Below in stores and online. Please consider donating to Toys for Tots this season. Make a child's holiday special. Donate at Five Below today. Weekly auctions have returned to Trudell's Auction Gallery in Bellingham. Every Monday, live auctions begin at 10 a.m. Doors open at 8 a.m. for previews. Items change every week, so come every week. Furniture, comic books, trading cards, and artwork are just some of the items you may find. Visit TrudellAuction.net for all the details. Make plans to come to the best little auction in Massachusetts every Monday at 10 a.m. Trudell's Auction Gallery, 799 South Main Street, Bellingham.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Hi, this is Gary Smith. I hope you listen to our all-request music show called Do You Remember These? Saturdays, 4 to 7 p.m. here on ON Radio.
It is Coffee and here on ON AM and FM. Joe Callahan here, along with Emily Haining-Sheen from the Call newspaper and attorney Bob Lauder. And Bob, it's time for a first message from your law office, please.
Good morning. Thank you. I'd like to talk to you this morning about two recent cases decided by the Supreme Court of the state of Rhode Island, which provide guidance on the issue of termination of the rights of a parent to a minor child. As you know, a natural parent or an adoptive parent of a minor child is presumed to have rights of custody and placement of the minor child unless otherwise determined by a judicial finding of a court. The first case was entitled In Re Joan and was decided in 2022. In that case, there were two children. One was 7 years old and one was 8 years old. The Department of Children, Youth, and Families was made aware of the apparent neglect of the parents in caring for the children and petitioned the family court to permit DCYF to assume control of the children. Approximately a year after that, the department petitioned the family court to terminate all the rights that the parents had to the children based upon the department's allegations that the parents had failed to avail themselves of the services necessary to correct the situation which had caused the children to be placed with the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. The trial judge listened to the testimony of an expert in psychology, a DCYF investigator, several DCYF social workers, and one of the parents of the children. And after consideration of the evidence, the judge granted the motion to terminate the parental rights to the children. Upon appeal, the Supreme Court acknowledged the fundamental liberty rights which parents have in the care, custody, and management of their children, and affirmed that any judicial abrogation of those rights must be supported by a clear and convincing evidence. The court recited the sections of the general law of the Rhode Island, which provides that parental rights may be terminated when a child has been placed in the legal custody of DCYF for at least 12 months, where parents have been offered services to correct the situation which led to the placement of the child, and where there has been no substantial probability that the child will be able to return to the parent's care within a reasonable period of time. In that case, the Supreme Court ruled that the trial judge was correct in evaluating the evidence and terminating the rights of the parents to the children. If you'd like to discuss this or other legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, thanks. And talking about the custody of children, I don't know if you heard this story. This is a real good case of child endangerment. Indiana police say a 4-year-old boy shot and killed himself this week. And he did so with a loaded handgun he found in his house on top of a dollhouse. Yep. 19-year-old Joseph Jackson told investigators northeast of Indianapolis in a town called Muncie he owned the handgun and routinely left it on a dollhouse in the bedroom he shared with his girlfriend, Alicia Smith, and her 2 children. Both Jackson and Smith are facing neglect of a dependent, resulting in death, charges that have up to 40 years in prison as a sentence.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just
Yes.
wow.
There's
I
no
would-
words.
There aren't any. I mean,
that-
why would you do something like this? Why would you leave it there? Why would you leave it loaded? Of course, you don't know the area they're in, but still, I mean, yeah, you got to put it at least up on a shelf.
You have a
But a
lot
higher
more responsibility than that.
Yeah.
You have to
I
have a lot.
agree. It should be locked up.
Yes.
I get
Well,
it.
no. If it's in a home, the cartridge needs to be out, and
Is that in every state?
I know that it is in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
But the cartridge needs to be, or bullets need to be away from where the gun is, and the gun is supposed to be in, a safety lockbox.
I just wonder what the rules, the law is in Indiana.
Don't know,
but
but-
still, loaded, putting it on the dollhouse because it's convenient for you for whatever reason. It's just,
No, yeah. no,
and now
that's
look what has happened. So, yeah, that's awful.
awful.
So what's going?
He said
what's
he
that?
routinely put it on the dollhouse. It
That's what he
wasn't
told. That's what he told the police.
And the-
oh, I
It was
always
just
keep it there.
negligence that. Yikes.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, it's a strange.
it's awful.
So, Bob, what's going on with Elon Musk over there at Twitter?
Well,
And,
he hasn't
did
asked me for any legal
advice yet?
advice
Not
just
yet.
yet.
Oh, okay, but didn't he just come out and say you have to? The employees have to work longer hours.
Well, last week he was saying
And
that they had
more
to
hours?
work in the actual structure of the office at the
Okay, no more working from
no
home.
more working from home. And according to what I saw in the news services last night,
Mm-hmm.
he's told the employees that he expects them to work harder and longer, and if they don't comply or wish to comply, then they're
There's the
fired by
door.
5 o'clock today.
Well, what's longer? I mean,
I-
is he talking 10-hour days or 12-hour days or what's he want?
The news didn't specify that.
I'd
but,
be interested to know that.
it doesn't sound like a particularly enticing work environment, except for the fact they probably paid very well, and finding a new job in that field may be difficult. So,
I don't know.
Now the question is, if they're going to be working longer hours, are they going to be getting a pay increase?
it did not say, as far as I recall.
Well, it sounds like they'd be moving into overtime anyway. So there's a jump in pay. right there.
Exactly.
Well, yes and no. They may be on salary, and they may.
Oh, it
Oh
could
yeah,
be. Yeah,
and
you're
it
right.
doesn't matter.
I didn't think about that.
Sure.
Okay.
No, that's
There's probably not a lot of hourly.
and I mean
employees
he's
there.
how many people have already been let go?
Several thousand. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to say like 7,500.
and I know
It's
and I'm,
interesting.
these millionaire CEOs that say, "Well, I'm just asking the workers to do as much as I do," kind of a mentality. And I actually worked for a guy like that in Massachusetts, and he got in at 6 in the morning. He stayed till 7 o'clock at night, but he was also the CEO, and paid himself quite handsomely. And I always thought to myself, if I could ever chance to speak to him, Rob, well, who's at home watching your kids? Oh, your wife gets to stay home, doesn't she? Because you're making your $1 million a year. Well, guess what? You're not paying all of us $1 million a year. And I worked with a lot of single mothers at this place, and they cannot do the amount of hours that you put in. Mm-hmm. And you never quite. I never saw him grasp that situation.
and the responsibilities are different.
Yes.
It's not apples for apples.
And we worked in Quincy at the time, and he couldn't understand why you all couldn't get in on time every single day like he did. Well, he came in at 6, Everyone else
Exactly, so
everyone else
traffic is not as
Traffic
bad.
was fine, but everyone else
Exactly.
is trying to get in for 8, and traffic's a nightmare.
Exactly.
And there's accidents. Things happen on the road. It's just,
Yeah, there's things that are unpredictable.
and I just never understood that.
I saw that some of the stockholders of Tesla have brought litigation against Mr. Musk regarding
they?
his salary as the CEO of Tesla.
Is it too much?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like huge. I think it was $50 million a year or something quite extraordinary.
So what can the stockholders do to bring that down? Can they? Or
Well,
they
they
can they
file
just get rid of them?
litigation in court. They're probably claiming that the payment of that kind of a salary reduces the amount of profits that the company has to distribute in the form of dividends to the shareholders. I
Well,
would
it's going
imagine
to, sure.
something along those lines, and they'd be arguing that this is not in the best interest of the company.
I thought
I
they'd
don't know if
be-
it'll get anywhere, but
Yeah. I thought they might be arguing since he took over Twitter, he's neglecting Tesla. And so we're not happy with him over here because he's over there
well, he also has the
in his rocket.
rocket business as well. So
Yeah, he's got a lot of irons in the fire. Bob's got to get going. He's got to get to court this morning and take care of things over there. So we're going to ask for a second message from Bob Lauder's law office so then he can shuffle on over to court.
thank you very much. Good morning. A few minutes ago, I discussed with you the standards which a court in Rhode Island must use when considering a petition to terminate the rights of a parent in a minor child. There's a second case, which was also decided by the Rhode Island Supreme Court in 2022, which sets forth in greater detail the obligations of the parties in either establishing the fitness of the parents or their lack of fitness. This was a case of In re Nolan. Approximately 7 years ago, when the child was only 14 months old, the child was remanded to the custody of DCYF. After the passage of more than 19 months, the department filed a petition to terminate the parental rights of the child's mother and father. At the trial, the judge listened to the testimony, but found that the parents had cooperated with the department and that the department had failed to make reasonable efforts to reunify the parents with the child. And the trial justice denied the department's petition. DCYF appealed the decision to the state Supreme Court. And there, the judges reiterated that before terminating a parent's rights to his or her children, the family court must first find that the parent is unfit, and in certain cases, the family court justice must also evaluate whether DCYF made a reasonable effort to correct the situation that led to the child's removal from the parent's care. However, once the family court justice determines parental unfitness, the best interest of the children outweigh all other considerations. After reviewing the record, the Supreme Court determined that DCYF had, in fact, made significant attempts to rectify the parents with the minor child, and that the efforts of the parents for reunification were only minimal. The court noted that the continued drug use by the parents, the failure and refusal of the parents to execute medical release authorizations to confirm the extent of psychological care in which they were participating, all led to the judge ruling that the court must consider as a part of the totality of the circumstances the conduct and cooperation of the parents. The department had not been faulted for failing to secure the ratification where the parents' recalcitrance to treatment precludes reunification. If you'd like to discuss this or other legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, thank you very much, and enjoy your week, and we'll see you
Thank
next
you.
week here.
Yes,
Very-
Thanksgiving.
Day before Thanksgiving. Oh, no, on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Yes.
We're going to record beforehand. So,
gonna
Bob,
have turkeys?
you can bring, if you bring the cranberry sauce, we'll have turkey, all right?
And he didn't say the turkey is you.
Ah.
That is
Pretty good, huh?
Ba-dum-bum.
All right, more Coffee Ants coming up. Please stay tuned.
Thank you.
Seasonal allergies got you down? The Honey Shop has a solution. Breathe. It's the all-natural cold and allergy remedy made right here in Woonsocket. Or perhaps you have sleep problems, arthritis, or some other ailment that you're looking for a natural solution. The Honey Shop is also starting classes again. So if you're looking to learn something new, stop by 1300 Park Avenue in Woonsocket near Park Square, or give them a call at 401-766-1488.
the Honey Shop.
From the amazing world-famous sandwiches to the incredible specials, Kay's Restaurant is the perfect go-to location to catch up with family and friends. Enjoy the beautiful dining room as you relax in the comfortable atmosphere. During this holiday season, a Kay's Restaurant gift card will always be an appreciative gift. Be sure to go to Kay's Restaurant Facebook page to see the latest specials. Kay's Restaurant on the corner of Mendon Road and Cass Avenue in Socket. Remember, kaysrestaurant.com.
Those old stone walls across Rhode Island's countryside always captured your attention. And today, as a landscaper, you continue to craft that same beauty by laying one stone at a time, which is also why you choose Bank Rhode Island. Because with the straightforward delivery of services and our commitment to serve with integrity and trust, you have a bank committed to craft a better banking experience, one customer at a time. It's banking well crafted from Bank RI. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're invited to the second annual Holly Jolly Christmas Bazaar at St. Joseph's Church in the Good Shepherd School Gym, Saturday, November 19th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Get some Christmas shopping done by browsing the flea market with handmade craft baskets and other assorted baskets. The Holly Jolly Christmas Bazaar will also have a fresh baked goods table, a kids craft corner, raffle baskets, money tree, yard sale items, and Santa's Attic. And speaking of Santa, take your picture with Santa Claus from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The second annual Holly Jolly Christmas Bazaar from St. Joseph's Church in the Good Shepherd School Gym, 1210 Mendon Road, Woonsocket, Saturday, November 19th, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Please stop by. It's Coffee Ann here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan is here with Emily Hayning-Sheehan from the Call newspaper, and it's just so crazy, Em. Keep following the story that's coming out of Idaho and those four kids that were killed, and just the small amount of information that the Idaho State Police are giving out so slowly, and then I just read there were two other people in the apartment.
Yes.
They weren't touched.
No. So, I mean...
What is going on?
Exactly.
Who are they looking for?
They're just so vague.
So vague.
So vague. I mean, they keep on, coming on to, the stations and things like that. And, they're giving reports. But...
Initially, they said it was a crime of passion. Okay. Was one of them dating somebody? And why kill the other three?
Yeah.
Because they're in the way? I don't know. So there's just all sorts of questions still out there. And why not? Why weren't the other two touched? Does that mean they were involved?
Exactly. And there's no suspects. There's really nothing.
And they tell people, and they're telling the people out there in that town, which is a pretty small town, not to worry. Not to worry. Someone has killed 4 people with a knife, and you're saying not to worry.
Yeah.
That you have not caught yet, which is why the school has reopened for classes.
Yes,
but did you read a bunch of the students said we're out of here? It's almost Thanksgiving. We're going home.
Do you blame them?
Not at all.
Exactly.
Especially when you're getting such little information from the police and the school. Yeah. But the school's getting the information from the police.
Exactly.
So yeah. And I know, and I read it yesterday, that the president of the college, of the university, sent an email to the teachers saying you got to give these kids some slack. They're gonna miss the next couple of classes.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, it's time to with any tragedy, there's a time to mourn.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's gonna affect people. Some people more than others. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if they were friends with the deceased or whatever the case may be, there definitely should be some lenience on non-attendance of classes.
And this situation is just so different than what happened at the University of Virginia.
Yes,
with the shooting but they were able to capture the assailant.
They did.
The alleged assailant.
Yes.
Down there, and so they have to go through the same grieving process as well.
Yeah.
But the community has got to feel, well, okay, it was an isolated incident, and we got the guy. These people up in Idaho just, oh my gosh, well, what do you do?
Yeah,
and you're not getting any information either.
No, No, so hopefully we'll get more significant information
And I
in
know-
the next couple of days.
I know they must be doing it for a reason. And maybe they have a suspect and they don't want to give out too much information, so they flee. I don't know. I was never a police officer. I don't know how it all works on the inside. And we're here we are on the outside looking in without all the information they have.
Exactly.
So you just don't know who's right and who's wrong. But it's still it's a crazy situation
It
out
is.
there in northern Idaho.
Yes.
It's almost in Canada. It's so far up. All right. Other bizarre things going on, crazy fun things going on
Yeah,
in
what's
the news.
going on?
Mariah Carey tried to trademark not her name, but she tried to trademark the Queen of Christmas because of that song.
Yes.
That she had. What's the name of that song?
All I Want for
All
Christmas.
I Want for Christmas. Okay, by Mariah Carey. And they said no. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office denied her application to trademark the Queen of Christmas title to use on products from her company, Lotion LLC, because holiday songwriter Elizabeth Chan, who already calls herself the Queen of Christmas, successfully blocked Carey's motion. Carey filed for the trademark in March, but missed the September deadline to respond to Chan's opposition. Now, I haven't heard of this woman, Elizabeth Chan.
I haven't either. So is she a...
She's a songwriter.
Okay,
And
so...
maybe she has written a number of Christmas songs.
Possibly.
And she says, maybe she already trademarked, I'm the Queen of Christmas. And so she puts in her opposition, and I guess you got to throw it up to Mariah Carey's people. Okay,
sure.
take care of this so I can have that. And
And the funny...
no one did it. I wish
kind of
Bob
the-
was here.
And kind of the funny thing is with Mariah Carey, yes, that she has many hits.
Yeah.
And as of late, she's kind of known as that
That's it, that song.
that song. It's been played in movies. It's been on TV commercials. Things like that. But I always kind of chuckle because I go back to it was I believe it was before the pandemic, and she was on New Year's Rockin' Eve, and it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster.
Was she supposed to sing live?
Yes, and it wasn't.
Not good.
It was. She was lip syncing,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and the music
Didn't match up.
stopped.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
And then she stopped singing like she didn't know, obviously, the words that were coming. And then she just walked off the stage. Like she
Okay.
got,
I think I
a
remember
little
that.
irate.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, she's
So-
a diva.
True. And, there's so many people that come out with their own Christmas albums every single year.
Yeah.
In all genres of music. And it's just, it's not surprising to me that this, that she's trying to do this. But
But she doesn't get it.
but she didn't get it.
Maybe she can come up with another title instead of Queen of Princess of Christmas. Is that any better? I don't know.
I don't know.
That just comes off the top of my head. So I don't know. But you're right. She's in a TV commercial. I can't remember what it's for, but it's very brief. And she's sitting there and she looks at the camera and basically said, "I don't know. It's my busy time of year." And I can't remember what the product or the service is for.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah,
But
and she kinda
it's just
smiles
kind
and
of
winks at the camera. Yeah, it's her
and
busy time.
and the thing is too is that as you get older, as a singer, there's sometimes some notes that you can't hit anymore.
Can't hit anymore. Yeah.
Or your voice changes just in general, or it gets like raspy, or what have you, and she's still going off of the fame of yesteryear and her in her
Yeah, so
like
nothing new.
earlier career.
Yeah.
Anything that she has done as of late is studio work, which obviously we all know that studios can alter
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
But is that song great? Yeah, I sing it. I sing it every year when I start at the.
Yes.
I'm not one to listen to Christmas music or holiday music
Just yet.
before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yet every year I see a bunch of different lists. Here are the worst holiday Christmas songs, and that song's on it too. And so it's
Exactly.
real split
So
50-50.
yeah, you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. But I mean, I personally, I like the classic songs.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, the Carpenters.
Karen's got a great voice.
I grew up with the Carpenters,
Uh-huh.
and my parents still, I think, have the vinyl of the Carpenters Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's kind of Bing Crosby and all the greats.
So so Dominic the Donkey is not on the top of the list there. That's one of the worst
Yeehaw,
Christmas songs. That's oh my god! I said when it first came out, I said, "Oh, this has so much potential to be good and funny." And I heard it and went, "Oh my god, it's awful."
I mean, there's always
Just my opinion, of course.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So other stuff going on, and this is just bizarre. But people just try to make money in any way possible. The Justice Department is charging 8 people allegedly involved in an international monkey smuggling ring. Hey, there's money in them there monkeys, I guess. Prosecutors claim primates that were poached from the wild were shipped to the United States after being falsely labeled as coming from breeding facilities. The indictment charges that a Hong Kong-based primate supply company, and who know there were such things, worked with Cambodian black market dealers and corrupt officials to illegally ship long-tail muskcocks, that's the name of the monkey, to the U.S. for medical testing. The muskcocks are an endangered species.
I was gonna ask.
Mm-hmm. And special permits are required for exporting them to the U.S. So since they're endangered, they're gonna carry more money.
Yes.
If you want them. So we're not talking like large gorillas and things
No,
like that.
no.
These are smaller things.
Yeah. And I mean, it's funny because there's a family that my mom grew up with and I grew up with that actually had a pet monkey.
Did they?
Yes.
I hear they're tough to have as pets.
Yes. And this goes back, probably at least 50 years ago.
Okay.
But the thing that we really have to, because I always go back to infectious diseases too.
Yeah.
Like, you never know what, and it's not just monkeys. I mean, it's many different breeds, but the fact that these monkeys are endangered.
Yeah.
They're an endangered species. And we didn't do our due diligence on our side.
Yeah, to vet it, I guess.
Exactly. It's just kind of, it's a little disturbing.
When I hear about people that have, pet monkeys, I always go back to, have you never seen Planet of the Apes?
I know.
And this is how it started.
Yeah.
People wanted monkeys for pets, and it got worse.
It got worse from there.
Go back and watch the movies.
Yes. Which, I mean, I never actually watched the original.
Well, it's not the original. You got to start you got to start with like movie number 4.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that explains what happened.
Yeah.
And it's funny because that was in the future. For us now, it's in the past.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
The whole premise of the movie.
Concept and everything.
Yep. They said in 1999, a worldwide virus went around the world and killed every dog and cat.
Yeah.
But people wanted domesticated animals. So they started domesticating chimpanzees.
Yeah.
And then they found out they could be like waiters and servants. And now they become slaves. And now there's a monkey that says, hey, they'd start to revolt.
Yeah.
This is a real issue because at the end of the movie, guess who's in charge?
Exactly.
So good science fiction there. Let's see. Tom Brady is involved in this FTX lawsuit.
Yes.
And
Giselle.
Is she involved as well?
Yes.
I wasn't paying too much attention to it because it really doesn't affect me at all. But this lawsuit's in the billions of dollars. It deals with cryptocurrency.
Yes, it does.
And not only is Tom Brady involved and Giselle, but so is Golden State Warriors Stephen Curry.
Yes.
And Larry David
Yep.
of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I'm sure there's more high-level celebrities.
Yeah, one of the Shark Tank hosts
Okay.
is involved as well, and they actually interviewed him. I actually saw it this morning, and he said, it's not my first big mistake, and it's not going to be my last. But for all the people, the people like you and I
Yep.
that invested, per se,
Yeah.
if we had invested millions and millions of dollars
$11 billion
Are
of it being
gone.
losses, yeah.
gone. And some of these people, put up their houses for collateral,
And it comes down
their
to
401k, draining their bank account
Yeah.
to invest. And
and they just look at it, well, this celebrity is doing it, so it must be safe. So I'll throw in money as well. And look what has happened.
Exactly.
It completely collapsed.
Yeah.
So
it's
check with your financial advisor, not just because Tom Brady says so.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. And obviously he hasn't been making a lot of good decisions lately. As much
on the
as
football field.
So it's just it's a shame though,
It is.
because it's there's many things that kind of suck people into
Sure. All right, we got to run. The show has come to an end. We thank you very much for listening. Our thanks to Bob Lauder, who was able to join us a little earlier. Em, thanks for coming in as well.
Thank you for having me, and everybody have a great weekend. Try to stay warm, and see you next week, same time, same place.
Very good. This is Joe Callahan. Have a great day. Coming up next, it's Senior Scene on ON Radio, followed by Gary Smith. And Do You Remember at 9:30.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. A 14-year-old boy has been charged with taking a weapon into North Providence High School. Another student alerted the school resource officer on Tuesday morning, and a BB gun was seized from the suspect's backpack. Authorities say no threats were made. The student has been suspended from school, and the case